Hey everyone, welcome back to the studio, and today I'm here to break down the final episodes of the final season of Never Have I Ever. I'm going to be talking about season 4, episodes 7 through 10, which were a pretty solid finish to the season, I would say. A few things I'm kind of upset about, but I enjoyed it overall. So, Episode 7 is a Paxton-centered episode, which I always enjoy these one-off episodes where it's just focused on one character. So we don't have John McEnroe, we have that other lady. I just don't remember her name, I'm sorry. So Paxton, he's living his best life back at the school. He's is friends with all the students, and that kind of goes south when he's accidentally ends up hosting a party. And Lindsay finds him, and it doesn't go well. But thankfully, he gets to keep his job. But overall, like throughout the episode, we see him like kind of like crossing these like boundaries and lines with like his position and how he has to like find a different way to go about all this stuff. And we kind of see that later on as he makes those decisions. But the main plot is Eric tries out for the swim team and he doesn't make it because he's just not a good swimmer. He's not athletic. And Paxton helps him out. Eric pretty much offers for Paxton to give him tips, and Paxton feels bad, so he gives him some tips to like exhale, inhale, that kind of stuff while swimming, and it ends up working. And it's good enough for Eric to be a JV alternate for the team. And that makes Eric very happy, and it makes Paxton feel happy too that he was able to help someone. So that was a great moment. I liked Eric getting a bit of the spotlight instead of just like an annoying character. And he was still annoying, but we saw him kind of talk about how he doesn't want to give up on this dream because, you know, you gotta at least try, is what he says. And that makes Paxton think about his whole ASU thing. So then Davy is like now working as an equipment manager for the swim team. So, and then her and Paxton get locked into a room together. And she pretty much asks him what happened at ASU, and he tells her that he was lonely and he came back because it's a safe place for him, and it's something he's used to, and he didn't like how he was being treated at ASU, and all of that. And then the two share a kiss and almost get caught by the coach, but thankfully they don't get caught because it's a big problem because Davy's a student, you know, they can't be doing that. But then at the end they talk and they pretty much say how it felt like closure for them. So this kind of ends off the Davy and Paxton relationship, which is fine. I used to be Team Paxton, but you know, it was a nice moment though. And then at the end, Paxton kind of noticing Davy and Ben's banter and thinking something is still there. And then we also have Paxton like volunteering and bringing like a dish for the potluck and starting to like take his position on faculty more seriously, which was great. I feel like this episode really tied up Paxton's arc in a good way, and in a pretty satisfying way for me too. I wasn't a big fan of the arc of him coming back to the school. I get why they needed to do it, but I wish I don't know, because it kind of undid his arc, his like development last season, but you know, I'll take it. It was still good. So episode 8 is Davy catches Kamala and Andres like flirting, so she decides to set them up with Margot's help. Margot is kind of hesitant to help her at first because of their history, but it kind of helps now that Margot and Ben aren't dating, that she's more willing to at least tolerate Davy now. So they get their parents together, they have this dinner, and then meanwhile, Ben and Trent get high, which was so funny. He pretty much wants Ben to take a break from his schoolwork, and Ben does, and admits he has feelings for Davy, so he runs and gets her flowers and then goes to her house to find her and Margot there. And it's really awkward, and Davy's confused and tells Margot they're just friends and there's no feelings. and then Ben kind of upset, but also just not really understanding what's going on. He leaves, and Davy and Margot make up, and then Kamala and Andre kiss. So it all kind of worked out. But I feel like I wasn't a big fan of Margot's character, though. I don't know. In just my opinion, I feel like they could have done a better job with making her more likable. Because she just wasn't really likable was the problem. Let's see. And then we have Eleanor reuniting with her mother. And, you know, obviously she's really upset because her mom abandoned her to give Broadway another shot and just left a note in her locker without saying goodbye. So they kind of like, and then she feels bad for her mom now because she's not getting any good roles on Broadway, just small roles, and how she's having a really hard time with that. So they kind of I mean, I don't think it was the best reconciliation, but I think with what time was allowed, they did a good job with that. So I like that. And then Kamala still thinks that Len is cheating on Patty, and this storyline's kind of exhausting because she hacks into his phone and sees that there's a contact in there named Baby. But then we find out that it's just his real estate agent because he's looking for a property for him and Patty to live on. And then we see Nellany and the family, they find out that Kamala turned down the job offer to join her boss, and they encourage her to take it, but Kamala's scared because of the change away from her family because she's really close to them, but they encourage her that while change is scary, it also can be good. And then the family has like a nice moment because I feel like this season, it's less about the family, which is kind of a bummer. But I did like that scene with all of them and how Kamala was kind of the focus for a change other than Davy. And I like that. But I do wish they did a little bit better with Kamala's storyline rather than it just being about Patty and Len. And I wish it wasn't dragged out as much as it was, but it's fine. It's not the end of the world. It just wasn't really interesting to me and enjoyable, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. Moving over to phone because the computer ran out of space. So, where was I at? Okay, so episode 8 ends off with Davy getting waitlisted for Princeton and getting rejected from every other Ivy League school. So that's how episode 8 ends off. And that leads right into episode 9, where Nellany Lily walks in like right when Davy looks at her computer, and she lies to her mom and says that she got accepted into all of them. So she spreads the word. Now everybody knows at school. The whole school knows because an announcement is made, and she's just really struggling the whole episode. It's also prom. And prom really doesn't, it's a very small part of the episode. We really don't even, the main girls don't go to prom. Prom takes place, but there's only like, not even the actual prom is shown. But episode 10 kind of makes up for it with a big event, so it was fine. So we get John McEnroe finally coming into the show, actually. And he is the limo driver, and they get into a little crash, and all the girls get high. And in doing so, they kind of all reveal their feelings about Eleanor seeing her mom, and then deciding to, like, you know, stay in town, and then Fabiola wanting to go to Howard because earlier in the episode, Fabiola has like a robotics fair, and a Howard professor approaches her with an offer, so that kind of makes her decide that she wants to go to Howard. And then Davy admitting that it was a lie and that she didn't get accepted into any school. And it was a really nice moment between the girls. I liked them all confiding in each other. It was a really good moment. And I liked how they decided at the end just to ditch prom. And that was good. And then Trent and Eleanor get back together, so that's really sweet. I'm glad they were able to work stuff out. I do wish there was a little bit more build-up, though, because they really haven't interacted since they broke up. So, but it's fine. I get they have limited time, and they really wanted to focus on the friendship between the girls this season. I noticed that was like the biggest part of it, even more so than like the family dynamic, which is fine. But I do feel like some of a lot of the relationships felt rushed, the breakups, makeups, and like even the Melanie and Andres thing kind of feels rushed in my opinion, but I don't know, it's fine. And then Ben comes into Davy's room. He climbs through the window, which is a Paxton classic. And he lays down next to Davy, and pretty much she admits that she lied. And he comforts her, and they literally lay in bed. Melanie comes in the next morning, and Ben leaves, so nothing happened between the two. They just slept in the same bed together, fully clothed, like Davy says. But then Melanie finds out about the lie, and she's really upset with Davy. She scolds her, and we kind of see that old Melanie come back, and she calls her stupid, and that really upsets Davy. And then she gets a call from the Princeton admissions person and says she can write an essay. And so she writes an essay about her whole like experience, about her dad and everything, and how she's overcome it. And it was like a really good moment for Davy. I really enjoyed it. And that ends off episode 9 to lead into the series finale. So episode 9 overall, a good episode. I wish we got to see prom. I guess Lindsay and Paxton have more flirting, but they don't even ever kiss, which is, but it's fine. I guess because she's older, maybe that's why. She's supposed to be older. I don't know how old the actress is. And I'm pretty sure the actor who plays Paxton too is they're probably around the same age. But yeah. So episode 10. So it starts off with Davy, Fabiola, and Anissa at school. And it's so crazy to me how Anissa just pops in and out, in and out. It's mind-blowing to me. I think the actress was filming a movie at the time, so that makes sense. But it's still kind of a bummer that they barely got her in the season, like 3 episodes or something like that. But Davy finds out she gets into Princeton. Her friends are there to comfort her. And her and Ben have a moment, and everything's going good. We see graduation. It's all a very like quick shot, and then we see like the last week of summer before they go off to college, which was kind of a bummer. I wanted to see Davy's valedictorian speech, but I guess maybe they thought like the essay from episode 9 would be a good alternate. I don't know. But yeah, it's Potty and Lynn's wedding. And Davy invites Eleanor and Fabiola to come. And pretty much the whole gang shows up, like Paxton and Lindsay, who are dating, Fabiola and Addison, Eleanor and Trent, and Anissa even shows up. And it's all a really nice moment, but we have like Melanie like scolding Davy for not packing, and Potty actually tells Melanie to take it easy on Davy, so Melanie learns like another lesson. And I guess it was good for her to regress just a tiny bit, so then we could get that final moment of her saying how proud she is of her. And I really like that. It just shows how much Melanie has grown as a character, and how much Davy's grown too, but especially Melanie. And then we have Davy and Kamala doing like an Indian dance, which I didn't really understand, but I understand why they did it for the show. The show doesn't even have a bunch of stuff like that, a lot of Indian moments like that. So that was nice. And then Ben walks in, and pretty much him and Davy, they escape. They go back to his house. They officially get together. Really, really nice moment. And their chemistry is on another level. I'm just saying that. I mean, it's hard because I used to be Team Paxton, and in a way I'm still kind of am, but they really made it so clear that Davy and Paxton were donezo even before they kissed in episode 7. So then I kind of switched to Team Ben. But I'm also not a big fan, and this is one of my critiques, I'm not a big fan of how they wrote Davy and Ben this season, because they interacted a decent amount, but like I wanted to see less like enemies to lovers and less angst, and I really wanted to see them get together before the finale, because we really only got like 5 minutes of screen time with them. But their moments together were really cute. But again, just that's one of my only critiques, and along with the Anissa thing. But yeah, once they finally got together, it was a really good moment, and I loved how he pulled up a YouTube video just for her to get back into her dress. So I thought that was really sweet. And then that final scene between Davy and Melanie was really good when she leaves to Princeton and her girls have their goodbye, but they're going to meet up at some point. I wish we kind of saw them together in the montage, except for them all separate, but it's okay. I wish like it ended with like one final moment between the girls, but you know, you can't have everything obviously with this show. So yeah, let's talk about the ending montage. We have Melanie and Andre, still together. Paxton's at ASU. Assuming him and Lindsay are still together, I guess. We don't know. I don't really care that much. They never even kissed, so it was hard for me to like really buy their relationship. They just said they were dating in the finale, but Eleanor's doing auditions. Fabiola is at Howard, I guess, doing the robotics thing. Nothing on Anissa, which is fine. Kamala, we finally get to see Mr. K. Finally, he wasn't in the season at all. We see him and Kamala together, so that's good. And then nothing about Pati. I guess we assume she's still married to Lynn. And then we see Davy and Ben together, and that's how it ends. So, yeah, it was overall a pretty good series finale. There were a lot of good moments. I guess the only things I wish happened, I mean, well, nothing really in the finale. I just think overall critiques, like I said, about the Davy and Ben and Anissa, maybe more family stuff. I kind of wish the Len and Pati and Kamala thing wasn't dragged out so much and that it took up less screen time. And I wish Kamala had a better storyline than just that. Like, I wish her and Mr. K had something, but I get they couldn't get the actor for most of the season. But, you know, it was overall a really fun show. I really enjoyed it. So many laughs, good character development, relatable characters, good acting for the most part too. So I really enjoyed it. It kind of ends off with John saying "for now," like this is the end for now. But I don't think there's anything planned. I could be wrong. Maybe they'll do something down the line. We'll see. But yeah, overall a great show. Decent season. I don't think it was my favorite. I think seasons 1 and 2 were really good, especially season 2. That one was really good. Seasons 3 and 4 just didn't match up to that, but it's okay because most of the time later seasons just don't match up. So, thank you for Frosby Studio. Comment down below your feelings on these final episodes and the final season of Never Have I Ever as a whole. I'll be back soon for you guys. I can't say when because I don't want to make any promises I can't keep, but I will do some stuff over the summer. I will say that. So like, comment, subscribe, and bye everyone.